Hello, my name is Lindsay Fisk, and this is my Responsible Use Policies presentation. Let's start with Sycamore Magnet Academy's Acceptable Use Policy, or AUP. In this first part, it talks mostly about cell phones and earbuds, and how the policy is that students must put them away in their backpacks before entering campus. And this has been really important because it's really cut down on the number of distractions in the classroom. If a phone is visible, then there will be some consequences. We'll talk about that a little bit later. What I'd like to talk about right now is the use of the iPad, which is the school-issued device, and how it is for educational purposes only. This aligns with the National Educational Technology Plan, or the NETP, because that focuses on integrating technology into K-12 schools, specifically to enhance educational experiences. Right? So if the students are not following the rules, the consequences are clearly laid out in the AUP. The first offense would be a warning. Second would be a school detention. The third offense would be 2 detentions. And the fourth offense would be a parent conference. The second part of the AUP talks specifically about completing a digital citizenship module on an annual basis. And this is done in the tutorial period every year. This also aligns with the NETP because that prioritizes digital learning implementation in K-12 schools. Okay, so how do you teach the AUP to students? Well, one way, especially in a middle school scenario, you can have a role play. You can assign one student as the teacher part and another student as a student part, and go through a scenario where maybe a student pulls out a cell phone. What will the teacher say? What kind of consequence does the student get? And likely the students will remember that and retain that better, and maybe even understand it. The other one is you can create maybe a Kahoot game, that the students will interact with and then be able to answer questions about the AUP in kind of a more game format. A third one is to actually make posters that are physically posted around the classroom. The nice part about this is that it is a visual representation of the AUP on a daily basis, and then you can refer to it whenever anything happens in the class. You can even have the consequences up there and say, well, if I see this, then this will happen. That are some of the common misconceptions about the AUP. Students might think, oh, it only applies on campus, so when I'm at home, I can do whatever I want. Well, that is incorrect. Even when you're at home, you have to follow it. So maybe you could share examples of misuse of technology at home, right? Here's a second one. Students don't have to follow the AUP on their personal device. Well, if they are on campus using the school's Wi-Fi, then it still applies. What you can do is possibly make a Venn diagram comparing a school device with a personal device. And a lot of the times there's going to be some similarities there that they didn't know. Third one is if a teacher does not see the misuse, then the student will not have any consequences. Well, that is not true, right? These school devices are monitored, so you should explain to this that all school devices are monitored, and maybe even complete a lesson about a digital footprint. It has a lot to do with digital citizenship and staying safe online. Okay, the next one is if students finish their work, they can do anything they want. Well, no, that's not true. We need to remind the students that it clearly states that devices are used for educational purposes only. The last one here says, if the district doesn't block the site, well, then it must be safe. Well, that's not true. They try their best, but they might miss some. So what you could do is maybe list the most common inappropriate apps and websites that they might accidentally come across or purposely come across. So how will this help Sycamore Magnet Academy? Right? By having consistency among the staff regarding the AUP, more students will be following the rules. They won't go from one teacher and then go to the next teacher and think, oh, well, they can get away with it in that class because they don't follow the consequences, right? So if we're all consistent, then it's going to lead to more following the rules. Then that will lead to fewer occasions of misuse of technology, which also increases the digital citizenship and being responsible online. It'll improve the digital safety, have less distractions, have more time for instruction, and overall higher learning opportunities for students. So there are so many benefits if we all follow the AUP consistently. Here are the references I used to create this presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day.